Welcome to Family Basics 101. I'm Dr. Bruce McClure, and as we begin a 5-part series entitled Personal Matters That Really Matter, we will look at domestic violence, marital abuse, bullying, date rape, and breaking the cycle of abuse. Let's begin our 5-part series by first discussing domestic violence. Domestic refers to those things that happen close in. Most individuals from about age 4 to 5 begin to journey away from domestic, their abode of residency. In fact, we get the word domestic from a word domicile, the place of primary abode. So our domicile or our domestic environment is the worst place in the world for a child, a teen, a youth, an adult, a married person, a widowed individual, elderly, to experience abuse. That is the worst environment, is that domicile. The domicile setting is seen as a place of protection, a place of security, a place of comfort. It's the place of escape from the cruel world. As reported by the Center for Disease Control in a report issued December of 2011, 29 million women say they have suffered physical violence from an intimate partner. That's domestic. 1 in 3 of those women have experienced rape, physical violence, or stalking from an intimate partner. That's domestic. Boyfriend, husband, fiance. That's what the Center for Disease Control discovered in this report. Half of the women who reported rape or an attempted rape said it occurred when they were 17 years or younger. And again, you're talking about in domestic situations. In this same June 2011 report by the Center for Disease Control, they also found 1 in 5 women in the survey of 9,000 women also said they were victims of rape and or attempted rape, and 50% of those attempts or those rapes involved intimate partners, domestic again. Domestic violence is more common and less reported than physical violence from strangers, and there's a reason for this. Because according to Director of the Angel House, Renee Morris, according to her findings, the lines of assault becomes very blurred when significant others are involved. In other words, what Renee Morris discovered is, if it's a stranger, that's considered an assault. It's very clear if somebody just walks up to you, according to Renee Morris, and slaps you. But when you're being assaulted in your own home, that's family abuse. It blindsides you. They think it's normal or a normal part of the relationship because of the way they grew up and the way they perceive themselves. So because it's under my roof, because it's between a boyfriend and a girlfriend, because it's between a father and his children, they do not consider it assault in those unhealthy family environments. They do not consider it abuse. They consider this family business. Domestic violence, according to Bett said, it is an issue of power and control that is targeted toward a specific person in a relationship. And regardless of what the family members call it, it is still domestic abuse. It's not a behavior the abuser uses with other people. Intimate abuse or intimate partner violence is not an issue of anger management, because these same people manage their behaviors when they're with other people. It's targeted behavior toward the spouse, girlfriend, or boyfriend. The abuser is using power and control to keep the victim isolated, using the threat of intimidation. 74% of all murder-suicides involve an intimate partner, spouse, common-law spouse, ex-spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend. Of these, 96% were females killed by their intimate partners. These are domestic abuse cases. Most murder-suicides with 3 or more victims involved a family annihilator, a subcategory of intimate partner murder-suicide. Family annihilators are murderers who kill not only their wives, their girlfriends, and their children, but often other family members as well before they'll kill themselves. 75% of murder-suicides occur within a home environmental setting. Again, domestic abuse. Approximately 33 million, or 15% of U.S. adults admit that they were victims of domestic abuse. Furthermore, 6 in 10 adults claim that they know somebody personally who has experienced this domestic violence. Among all adults, 39% say they have experienced at least one of the following, with 54% saying they haven't experienced any. Being called bad names, pushing, slapping, choking, hitting, public humiliation, keeping away from friends or family, threatening the family, forcing sexual intercourse. This is domestic abuse, regardless of how it is labeled. In the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 13, verses 1 through 15, there's a story about a son and his brother, Ammon, and Absalom. Ammon is going to rape his sister Tamar, and Absalom, the brother, is going to kill him at a later date. This is domestic abuse. It came to pass after these that Absalom the son of David had a fair sister whose name was Tamar, and Amnon the son of David loved her. And Amnon was so vexed that he fell sick for his sister Tamar, for she was a virgin. And Amnon thought it hard for him to do anything to her, but Amnon had a friend whose name was Jonadab. And Jonadab is going to convince Amnon that you can have anybody you want. I'm going to drop down in the story. And when she had been brought in to her brother under the pretense that he was sick, and she was going to bring him some food and nurse him back to health, then he will grab her, and he said unto her, Come lie with me, my sister. And she answered him, No, my brother, do not force me, for no such thing has ever come in Israel. Do not this foolishness. And he said, No, I'm going to. And he rapes her. This is domestic abuse. It takes place in the domicile, and it should never happen in a place called home. I'll see you back in class again next time. Don't be late, and don't skip class.